Before we start, I want you to take a deep breath and be brutally honest with yourself for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to say might sting a little, but it could also be the turning point you've been praying for. Let's tell the truth, my love. You say you want love, but deep down, that's not what you've really been chasing. Not yet. What you've been chasing is to be chosen, to be validated, to be picked out of a crowd by someone and hear them say, you're it. You're finally enough. I see you now. I choose you. Somewhere deep in your heart, maybe so deep you don't even realize it, you've internalized a dangerous little equation. Being chosen to being safe. Being desired equals being valuable. Being wanted equals being worthy. And anything that threatens that equation, anything that reminds you that real love is quiet, steady, and safe, you push away. Because real love feels foreign. It feels too calm. It doesn't give you that adrenaline hit your nervous system is so used to. Instead, what feels familiar, what feels exciting, is the love you have to earn, especially from someone emotionally unavailable, unpredictable, or hard to impress. That feels like redemption. It feels like you've won. But darling, it's not redemption. It's not healing. It's just another performance. Where this really began. Let's rewind. Because this didn't start with romance. It started long before your first crush or first heartbreak. Maybe you had a parent whose love you had to earn, a caregiver who praised you only when you were useful, helpful, or perfect, but not when you were hurting. A family system where being too much emotionally was punished and being impressive was rewarded. So you adapted. You learned to be easy, charming, smart, helpful, pleasant. You became the version of yourself that was most likely to be chosen and buried the version of you that wasn't. And now you're grown. You say you want love, but what you mean is validation. You say you want partnership, but what you really mean is a witness who will finally say, you're good enough. The patterns you keep repeating. You mistake anxiety for chemistry. You mistake distance for mystery. You mistake unpredictability for a challenge you need to win. Because deep down, you believe that the harder someone is to earn, the more valuable you must be if they choose you. So you chase unavailable people and call it fate. You pine after the one who won't text back and call it romantic tension. You reject the steady, healthy love that feels unfamiliar because your nervous system is wired for chaos. Here's the truth. You are not addicted to love. You're addicted to performing for love. You're addicted to the pursuit. You're addicted to trying to prove you're enough. And here's the twist. Real love, true, grounded, emotionally secure love. It doesn't make you prove anything. It doesn't spike your nervous system. It doesn't feel like conquest. It feels like home. And for someone raised to perform, home feels suspicious because it doesn't ask you to earn it. What you're really afraid of. So, what are you actually afraid of? You're not afraid of rejection. You're afraid of being seen without the sparkle. You're afraid of being held when you're not impressive. You're afraid of being truly known. Because what if, when you stop performing, no one stays? What if, when the mask comes off, the love disappears? That's the core wound. That's the haunting fear that keeps you chasing the unavailable, hoping that if they pick you, you'll finally feel enough. But that's not healing. That's self-abandonment dressed as romance. That's tying your worth to someone else's inability to love. The shift, how you actually heal. So how do you stop chasing validation and start letting yourself be loved? You start by grieving. You grieve the little girl who thought she had to be perfect to be kept. You grieve the teenage version of you who thought being picked was proof of her value. You grieve every version of yourself who was lovable, but wasn't loved. Then you unlearn. You stop turning love into a reward system. You stop auditioning. You stop treating relationships like a test. You stop making your personality a resume. And you do the unthinkable. You let yourself be ordinary. You let yourself be seen on your average days, not just your best ones. You stop looking for someone to pick you, and you start choosing yourself. What healing looks like in real life. Healing looks like being okay when no one texts back, not attaching your worth to how wanted you feel, letting someone love you when you're messy, tired, or not on, saying no to the people who make you feel small, refusing to confuse chaos with connection. It looks like sitting in the quiet and realizing that peace isn't boring, it's safe. It's allowing healthy love to feel strange at first and not running back to the drama you're used to. The freedom you gain. Because here's the truth that changes everything. You were never meant to be picked like a prize. You were meant to be seen. You were meant to be known. You were meant to be loved in your being, not in your performance. And the second you accept this, you become powerful. Because now you're not waiting to be chosen. You are choosing. Choosing who gets your energy. Choosing who gets your softness. Choosing who gets to stay. And most importantly, you finally choose you. Not because someone else told you that you're worthy, but because you now know you are. So, my darling, stop chasing those who need convincing to love you. Stop bending, twisting, and reshaping yourself just to fit into a space that was never built for you. Stop measuring your worth by how hard you had to fight for someone's attention, because real love will never ask you to exhaust yourself just to be seen. You see, the wrong people will always make you feel like you have to earn their affection. They'll make you feel like you have to sparkle brighter, try harder, speak softer, or hide the parts of you that are too much. And maybe you've done that. Maybe you've dimmed your light, shrunk your dreams, and silenced your voice just to keep someone close. But here's the truth. Love that is meant for you will never require you to become less of yourself. It won't make you feel like you're walking on eggshells, terrified that being real will make them leave. It won't demand that you perform to be worthy. Instead, it will feel like a sigh of relief. It will feel like home. It will see you in your mess and in your magic, and love you not in spite of those things, but because of them.